This weekend, Toby and I are bringing you into Adena County. Deer hunting season is still going on in north central and northeast parts of the state. So we got to find a place out west where the season's closed already. And we've been on a couple of these campsites on the Crow Wing River before, and we usually have them all to ourselves this late in the season. So we're going to try and get into a brand new one that I've never been to before and see what it looks like. This don't look half bad. If I remember right though, they've got a back loop here, some more private campsites. If anything, it'll block us from the wind. I don't think we're gonna get down into the single digits tonight, but tomorrow morning they're talking like a 10-mile-an-hour wind. So we'll wanna get tucked away a little bit for that. Oh, this one looks nice. Let's check this out. Come on, Toby. This looks good. Oh, we do got that one low branch right there. This looks like a perfect spot. Really level too. What do you think, Toby? Should we call this home? I think so. We'll just feed this through. Looks good. Wasn't it Red Green that said, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy? I think we're gonna make this work. Beauty. Bring it on back. Let's go make this home for the night. Oh, I really like this. It's gonna be perfect. Come on, Toby. I found a lot of these campgrounds on the Crow Wing River don't have cell phone service, but here, getting like 1 or 2 bars, be able to send out a message to Mandy, letting her know that we found a place right away for the night. Looks like another camping spot right here. This one is kind of hidden too. Some leftover slab wood sitting here. We can always come and get this if we need some firewood later. Not a bad spot. We got some snow flurries a couple of days ago and it's sticking around. Only picked up like 1 or 2 inches, but you can still see it on the ground. Temperatures haven't been really cold though, not cold enough to make ice. And a lot of times I'd be able to be ice fishing by Thanksgiving, at least have 2 inches, enough to walk on. It's definitely not going to happen this year. Hopefully I'll be able to get in, do a little bit of fishing before that shoulder surgery in January. Oh, there's the box. Number and party. That'd be 1. Date. It's November something. I have no idea. It's the Saturday. Maybe the 22nd. It is 2024. My name, Kenny. Perfect. Maybe I should have picked a spot over here by the river. It's beautiful. This campground still got the garbage receptacles out. And they do have all toilets here. I don't know if they're open though. Well, there's no foot traffic leading up to them. Open. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like the mice got through a roll of toilet paper in there. Otherwise, not too bad. Let's check and see if they got any slab wood. Looks like there might be a little bit right there. I think we'll just grab a few and cut these back up at the campsite. That should be enough. It's not too far. I should rig up a harness to the producer, let him earn his keep. Right before I left, I put out the slide, turned the furnace on, did a little housekeeping inside. So we should be set. I'll get the saw out, cut these up. We'll get us fire going. It's a nice little pile. I think Toby and I might go inside the camper, warm up for a little bit. It's just a little chilly out here. One of the best parts of winter camping is sitting inside, turning the furnace on, watching a movie. After all, it's my weekend too. I get to relax. Come on, Toby. Now that we're getting into the cold weather season, I don't feel bad for coming in the camper for like 30 minutes to take a break. During the summertime, I feel like I'm wasting time. During the winter, when it's cold outside, snow on the ground, there's something cozy about being in a camper like this, turning the TV on, watching a little movie, taking a quick 30 minutes just to reset. Plus, I think Toby appreciates the break too. One thing that I should do is go outside and get the generator cable out. The house batteries, they're not going to keep up with the furnace. It's been running pretty much most of the afternoon. I'm sure it's going to run all night long. I told you a couple of weeks ago that my house batteries are shot, and I was thinking about stepping up to lithium, but I just can't afford the cost to put in a charging system into this thing. Plus, this camper's like 21 years old. I don't want to stick that kind of money into this old camper. And I'll admit, I probably get 3 or 4 sponsors reaching out to me every week saying, you review this battery, review that battery, but I don't have any time for that on my plate. But for now, gas is like $2.60 something a gallon, and I don't have to worry about annoying anybody with the generator running during the winter months. So we're just going to run the generator. If it looks a little bit darker, well, that's because I just spent like 45 minutes realizing that this mic wasn't working. I think the little adapter for the GoPro finally went out. Thankfully, I had this old media mod for the GoPro laying around, so we got audio again. All right, this old generator, it's probably 5 years old. Usually starts first pull every time. Perfect. I don't think we got to leave it running right now, though. I think the trick to maintaining these generators, ethanol-free fuel, and just not letting it sit with fuel in it. If I know I'm not going to run it for like 3 weeks, then I'd rather run it dry. Other than that, it's like 5 years old. It's got to have close to 700 hours on it. The Predator from Harbor Freight, it's been a good generator. See if we can't get this going. This is going to be a little bit different than usual. Nah, that won't work. Well, you'll have to tell me if you think this is going to work. My guess is yes. The wood felt pretty dry when I was cutting it. I think it'll be all right. She's going to go just fine. Geese. It's those little things right there that make me love coming out here. We'll put out Toby's chair. I don't know if he's gonna stay outside too much. We'll sit out here for a little while though. And I did bring some wood too, just in case when we run out of that. You gonna come up? Come on. Ah, good boy. Not too shabby. this is no good at all. I just loaded up all the files onto the computer and realized that I lost audio way before I thought I did. Like back when I pulled into the campground, everything reverted back to the GoPro camera. So all the shots of me walking away and walking up to the camera, thinking that this wireless mic was picking it up, nothing. Oh, that's great. It's kind of how this weekend has been. I'll kind of bring you behind the curtains a little bit here, share with you some of the struggles that I've been having this weekend. And it started last night. I got off of work and I was hoping to get out to this campground yesterday. But I got home, that Buick that I just bought, noticed a misfire on it. Not a big deal. It's got 104,000 miles. It needs plugs and wires. But Mandy Chevy Traverse, it's been giving us issues too. The Equinox Traverse, those Chevy motors have bad timing chains and they're just junk. So Mandy needed to take the Buick. So that meant that last night I was busy in the garage doing a tune-up. This morning I got up and I wanted to shave and cut my hair quick before I started recording. And of course, I put on an attachment that was way shorter than I would ever cut my hair. Plus, I've got all these colics and weird things going on the top of my head. And yeah, that didn't work out the way I thought. Getting here, the audio messing up, I can live with all of that. So I came inside, gonna make supper. That's when I realized that I got a mouse infestation. Silverware drawer full of mouse poop. Same with all the pots and pans. So I've just spent about the last hour going through scrubbing everything. Now, unfortunately, I winterized the camper last weekend. I don't have any water in here. I got 409 vinegar and a bottle of spray water. So that's what I've been cleaning with. I think the only thing that's going to make me feel better is if we make some supper. And hopefully I'm not eating too much mouse poop. But supper's going to be good. Let me show you what we got. Ground chuck, ground pork. Sounds like meatballs to me. One of my favorite sandwiches from Subway is a meatball sub. It's only because I quit serving the seafood a couple of years ago. I tried a couple of copycat recipes on the seafood sub. I can never get it to taste right. But tonight, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own meatball subs, and we're not gonna copy Subway. In fact, this is gonna be better. It's gonna be a 2-pot recipe tonight. First thing we gotta do, mix up the ground chuck and the pork. We're using an 80-20 mixture of the ground chuck. That's going to make sure that the meatballs don't dry out. And same with the pork sausage. It's going to keep everything nice and juicy. Once this is mixed up really good, we're just going to transfer it over to the Dutch oven. We're going to mix up our seasonings in here. First in, 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. Next up, 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. I'm gonna mix this up. And we're gonna dump this right in the meat. We got 2 eggs, and we're just gonna whisk these together. Then we can add 1/2 cup of milk. Now we're putting the meat back in the bowl, and this we're gonna mix it all up. This is when it really starts smelling good. Now we don't want to over mix it, and we want to give it just a couple of minutes to rest. That way those breadcrumbs can soften up a little bit. All right, now we let it sit. During this time, we can clean up the kitchen, get everything put away. Toby looks like he's down for the night. I don't know if he's going to be up for a campfire tonight or not. I still plan on going outside tonight. Here's what we got. It's a country Italian artesian bread. The plan is to cook the meatballs on the stove and then toast the whole thing in the oven. Is it going to work? I don't know. I've never done this before. Little extra virgin olive oil to saute them up. I can spend enough time. We're going to go about 3 tablespoons. We'll just test our oil. Perfect. Once it's good and hot, then I'm going to roll out golf ball size meatballs, and we're going to fry them in the pan. Could really use some help moving this camera around with dirty hands. Now I'm just putting the lid on so that way they can stiffen up a little bit, because I gotta keep rolling them over. They're gonna take about 15 minutes and they'll be done, but we want to make sure that they don't fall apart in the process. Ooh, this mess smells good. See if we can roll some of these over. Might have the heat up just a little too high. It'll be all right though. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, and then I'm going to leave the lid off. That way some of this moisture can escape. That 80-20 ground chuck, it's obviously has a lot of fat in it, so we're going to try and make sure that our meatballs aren't taking a swim. These are looking really good. Now we get to add some marinara sauce, and we're going to be going with my favorite. Go about half of the jar. Don't worry about all those little burnt pieces on the bottom of the Dutch oven, because that just adds flavor. They'll all come off really easy now that the sauce is in there. I got the heat pretty low. We're just going to let these sit and simmer now. The instructions on the bread say 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Got the oven preheated. Let's put her in. I love this bread. Crispy on the outside, but soft in the center. So good. I am going to put a sheet of parchment paper down, just because I don't want to get the pan all dirty. Get a bunch of that sauce on there. Next up, we're going to go some Asiago Parmesan. And then top it off with a little bit of provolone. And then this is going to go back in the oven. These RV ovens ain't the best for toasting, but we'll try our best. In the meantime, I gotta try one of these meatballs. Man, look at this thing. They're charging an arm and a leg for these things at Subway these days. This is gonna be a lot cheaper. I can guarantee it's gonna be a lot better. I'm gonna have to let it cool down because it's gonna be way too hot. Man, that looks good. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna eat this now. Oh yeah. Hands down, one of the best meatball subs I've ever had. I really like crunchy bread, but I'll be honest with you, it doesn't make for the easiest to eat with. I gave it my best shot. There's no way I'm finishing this thing. I cannot recommend this recipe enough. I'd definitely give it a try. It's so good. I think Toby's gonna stay inside. I'll just sit out here by the fire for a little bit. Just love it out here. Tomorrow's going to be another nice day. It's supposed to get up to like 30 degrees and we might even see some sun. I think for tonight, we're going to call it. I'll see you in the morning. House batteries sitting at about 12.1 this morning. Gonna get this started. No. Look at this. A frayed rope. I don't know how much longer that's gonna hold. It's always something. We'll just take 3 inches off this rope. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. I'll have to go back inside, get something to cut that with. Well, see if it wants to run. Perfect. It's a little bit chilly out. It's like 30 degrees, which isn't too bad, but it just feels damp in the air. Weather Channel said that we were supposed to have partial sun and wind this morning, but the wind never showed up, so that didn't take the clouds away. I keep hearing gunshots this morning. Maybe I'm wrong about the map. I thought I looked at the zone coverage and I thought that deer hunting was over with on the 17th here, but it still could be. There's a trail right down here that I wanted to go check out, thinking maybe there was more campsites on it, but I don't think we're gonna go over there, not if we're still hearing gunshots. I'll figure out what we're gonna do this morning. Having that sun would make a big difference right now. So I went onto the Onyx app, and sure enough, that trail's on county property. So there shouldn't be anybody hunting back there. We're not going to take our chances, though. We'll just check it out from up above. That drone comes in handy. This is when having that Onyx app really comes in handy. Well, I can see that the trail off the county land leads into a whole nother trail system, but it's all private land. Those roads look like field roads. It's not on Google Maps, it's not on the Onyx app. You get wandering down those trails and you end up on private property. That's no good. I think we got our answer. There's no camping down there. I think I figured out why I'm so cold. I think it's just because I'm tired. I stayed up last night like 3:30 editing on the video, trying to get the audio right. You'll have to let me know how bad it was or it wasn't. I guess we'll see. Tuesday rolls around quick. There's never enough time in the day. I'm always coming up on a deadline with putting out the videos. But back to work tomorrow. I had someone ask once, why don't I just push out the videos like Wednesday or Thursday night and give myself a little bit more time? I don't know, ever since the first video, like 3.5 years ago, it's always been Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Michael Jordan. Next week is Thanksgiving. I'm not sure what that's going to look like for the channel yet. Maybe you'll just have to tune in Tuesday, find out. So until then, be kind, be honest. We'll see you down the road. Toby, you ready to go? Come on. Let's go. Good boy.